Welcome to SGTV. We've got Gamecocks Lacrosse here at home tonight versus the University of New Hampshire Wildcats. I'm Griffin Warlow here, joined by
Austin McConnell.
And we are bringing you Gamecock Lacrosse at home. The 4-2 Gamecocks are taking on the Wildcats, who've come all this way from New Hampshire. It's a beautiful Monday night here in Carolina. The sun's going down just over the field, Austin. We've got a great night of lacrosse ahead of us. What are you excited for?
Oh, I'm just excited to get back out here and watch some guys go at it. It's been a fun break. It's been a grind for both these teams this year. We're looking forward to a lot of good, chippy, hard playing lacrosse tonight.
Yeah, most definitely. Both these teams have 4 wins to their name. I believe the Gamecocks actually have 5 at this point. The Gamecocks won on the road to Virginia. They played Liberty and Virginia Tech. They lost both of those games. Those are the only 2 losses on the season. So we're hoping the Gamecocks can get their spark back at their home turf here in Columbia.
Yeah, both teams having a loss or 2 to very talented teams. This New Hampshire team, just on the border of the top 25. They're looking to get a big rank win here tonight as the Gamecocks are ranked number 9 in the country. Gamecocks bounce back, beating USF on Friday. They're looking to bounce back against a tough Wildcats team here tonight.
Yeah, the Wildcats definitely are an opponent you cannot underestimate. Despite some of their games, they have a common opponent in the past in the University of South Florida. Both teams scored double-digit goals on them, if you want to compare a little bit against a common opponent. But tonight I'm very excited to see some goalie play as well. The Gamecocks are likely going to go back to their longtime goalie, Alex Petrush. And we've got Christopher Roth, number 34, in between the cage for the New Hampshire Wildcats. He's a goalie with a 76% save percentage. So I'd like to see both teams get the offense rolling, and I'd like to see some goalie play tonight for sure.
Yeah, New Hampshire is very accustomed to playing these tight, closer, quote-unquote low-scoring games. So it's going to be very interesting to see if the Gamecocks can get the ball rolling tonight on offense, which they have a lot of talent and are able to do so in Connor Egan, Johnny Stanton, etc. If they can get the ball running and expose this UNH defense, I think it's going to be a good night for the Gamecocks.
Yeah, most definitely. We'd like to see how the defenses stack up. I'm hoping the Gamecocks aren't a little stiff or a little rusty coming off spring break just the week before last and then a couple road losses. We'd love to see them get a win here on the home turf. But New Hampshire also is in the middle of a bit of a road stint. Like you mentioned, it's their spring break, I believe, this week. They're playing here today and then traveling up to Raleigh to play NC State tomorrow. So New Hampshire's, we'll see if they're playing full energy tonight. I know they have a long bus ride. They're in the middle of a road trip. If this is the best version of the Wildcats, we'll see. We are yet to find out.
Yeah, the Gamecocks taking a road trip of their own next weekend, going down to Alabama to play the Alabama Crimson Tide and the Vanderbilt Commodores. That'll be 2 good SELC conference opponents.
Yeah, those are some great games we'll see. You've got those 2 games, and then I believe only maybe 5 4 more after that before these two teams head to the playoffs, ideally, in a perfect world. So we'll see how the Gamecocks can finish out the season, if they can keep that loss column from growing beyond 2. And we'll see New Hampshire. They're eager to pick up a win here tonight at home as well. They're only a 1-loss team in their 5 games played. So we'll see how both these teams
like you mentioned, this is not an easy New Hampshire team to beat. It's going to be a very big game. It's a big game for the Gamecocks. Like you said, we need to get back on the road after suffering 2 very close losses to 2 very good teams up north. It's going to be a very interesting, very grueling game. New Hampshire played the Gamecocks back in 2020. They won 11-8, so these two teams have been in a close matchup before. That's the only time they've played. Gamecocks looking to get some revenge tonight, maybe.
Yeah, ideally for the Gamecocks, they would get that one back. Sean Houlihan is the coach of the New Hampshire Wildcats. Last season, they went 6-7. The season before that, they were 4-7. So I know he's trying to make this a season where they can tack more in the win columns and probably stay under that 7-loss total like they have the past 2 seasons.
Well, it looks like they're rallying up and getting the warm-up balls back in the bucket. It looks like face-off is coming up soon.
Face-off will be here soon. This game was slated to start at 7 p.m. It's running just a touch behind schedule, but maybe they're just waiting for the sun to go down a little bit. They want to play under the lights. Both these teams are eager to get out here on this fine Monday night here in Columbia, South Carolina. We're starting to see nodes of springtime as well.
Yeah,
Spring sports are getting underway. You're getting the March Madness is right around the corner, and then some really good golf this spring, too, I'm hoping.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. We saw big selection show last night, the Gamecocks, a 6th seed in March Madness, and I believe there was a lot of controversy at the golf yesterday, wasn't there?
At the Players' Championship
in
Jacksonville. Yeah, that was a big tournament. Scotty Scheffler won that one, I believe. Came down to the last hole.
Came down to a putt, right?
Yeah,
Almost
one putt.
A tie.
One putt. I was watching some of the Masters teasers for next month in April. It's always, once the weather starts turning, you know it's Masters season.
The best time of year.
Just right down the road in Augusta. But like you were saying, March Madness is here. It's upon us. The Gamecocks will be taking on Oregon. The women's team will be playing, who's that in the first round?
Either the winner of Sacred Heart or Presbyterian, one of those first 4 games in the women's bracket. So it's very exciting to be a Gamecock fan, having both teams in there in their respective tournaments. It's going to be a lot of fun. And speaking of mayhem and madness, like I mentioned earlier, Gamecocks are top 10. New Hampshire's trying to make some of their own.
Yeah, New Hampshire would love an upset tonight on the road. That would definitely put a lot of wind in their sails as a lacrosse team. And the Gamecocks know this is their house, and they need to take care of business. It's important to not get too cocky, especially when you have a team come to play you that's ranked outside of the top 25. You can't get complacent with these games. You actually have to bring your A game and play 4 full quarters of lacrosse if you're going to get a W tonight.
Absolutely. A very important second half of the season coming up for both these squads. UNH trying to get into the tournament. The Gamecocks trying to up their bid a little bit more. They've both got their conference tournaments at the end of the season. It's a bit harder for the Gamecocks just because of how much bigger the conference is, the SCLC versus New Hampshire's Continental Lacrosse Conference. There's only 4 teams who can compete with New Hampshire, so it'll be very interesting. These are very important regular season matchups for New Hampshire because they don't have a ton of opportunities to showcase their talent in conference play after the regular season is over.
But regardless of the strength of their conference, I think anyone who watches a good bit of lacrosse will tell you these teams that come down from the Northeast usually have some very talented players.
Absolutely. We were looking at their roster, not one player's from the South. They're all from Maryland, Vermont, Connecticut, New Hampshire, staying in state. It's a lot of good talent on this UNH team, a lot of good talent on this Gamecocks team. They come from all over the country as well. So we're gonna see the best of the best go at it tonight here on Monday night.
Absolutely. Both as the Gamecocks are huddled towards their sideline, New Hampshire still just out here running the drills, getting loose, getting ready for game time. Unfortunately, we don't know exactly when that'll be, but it should be here momentarily. We're after the 7 p.m. mark. Just waiting.
Yeah, refs are gathered around the scores table, just kind of hanging around a little bit. Maybe like you mentioned, just waiting for the sun to go down a little bit, but it's starting to go down behind the shed, and it looks like New Hampshire's going to start bringing it up now, too.
The sun's gotten below the horizon line, which I know we're both grateful for, as we would have been staring right into that. The lights are
a lot
on.
different from the last time we called a game where it was nighttime before we even got here. So
Most definitely. It was much colder earlier in the season.
Much colder, back in February.
But tonight, we're in for some very exciting lacrosse. We're going to be losing light here shortly. Going to be fully under the lights, maybe even close to that first face-off here in the shadow of Williams-Brice Stadium.
Yep, looks like the coaches are giving their final tidbits of information to their players, their respective positioning. Face-off guys warming up on the sideline still. Will Frith, a very good component to this Gamecocks offense.
Yeah, the senior, Will Frith, with 5 goals this season, I believe. And as a face-off man, that is a very impressive total in as few games as they've played.
That's a product of winning the face-off and getting out of there quickly, which Will Frith is so good at, creating fast break opportunities and setting up odd man advantages such as 4-on-3s for the Gamecock offense. The attackmen have a lot of goals as well. Guys like Johnny Stanton, Connor Egan, all those guys, they have many opportunities to score because of the wins at the face-off dot. That's where it starts every play.
Most definitely. But both these teams have shooters. Both these teams have some big guys on defense and some pretty talented goalies. So we're going to see which team brings their A game tonight here momentarily as the officials are out of their warm-up gear. We can see the black and white stripes now as they're heading out to midfield to get this game underway here momentarily.
Bit windy tonight.
It is windy. Yeah, we hope that's not impeding any of the audio you're getting on your TV screens at home. And we'd like to thank you before the broadcast gets underway for tuning in to SG TV tonight. The Gamecocks taking on the Wildcats.
Yeah, like we mentioned, we're very excited to be out here. We're very excited that you guys are joining us. And we are very excited for this matchup as they are setting up the lineups here. They're going to introduce everybody, greet everybody. Looks like we'll get a coin flip and get on the road.
New Hampshire in the dark blue uniforms, as you'll see on your screen now. The Gamecocks wearing white at home.
The crisp whites, love to see those. Want to thank New Hampshire for making the trip down here. Glad they got down here safely. Looks like their sideline's getting all fired up. Gamecocks getting just as fired up. I think it's going to be a fun night. It's going to be chippy. It's going to be electric. The adrenaline's starting to pump. These guys are ready to go.
Yeah, both teams are just chomping at the bit now, waiting for this lacrosse to get underway. Now the Gamecocks taking the field across from the Wildcats.
They size each other up. Wait for the officials to let them go. Goalies are going to meet at the middle. Some handshake showing some respect before we go at each other here tonight.
As the fighters touch gloves and take their respective places on the field. We'll have, it looks like, 44 for the Gamecocks out there at face-off. That's rostered as Carson Healy, the sophomore short stick D-midi. And he wins the initial clamp. Ball still on the deck. But New Hampshire comes away with the ground ball. It's number 9 picking it up, Charlie Hart. They'll send it out of bounds, though. Gamecocks will take it. Both teams make subs. And despite that pandemonium, Carolina goes on offense first.
Very interesting seeing Healy, the D-midi, take that first initial face-off instead of All-American Will Frith.
Ball around to Matthew Mayer for the Gamecocks, just moving it more. Connor Egan with it up top now, across to number 18, Max Rittenmeyer. And the Gamecocks just setting up their offense.
You got 80 seconds on the shot clock. No need to go too quickly. Dodge, find the open man. If it's not there, move it around a little bit more.
Rittenmeyer was the first to dodge, moving it around in the stick of Egan now. Back up top, that pass hits the deck off the stick of Drew Lombell. As he looks to dodge, he'll go to his left, beats one man, takes the shot, but saved by number 34, Christopher Roth, as the New Hampshire Wildcats are in the clear now.
Roth has done a great job for New Hampshire this season. Being a brick wall in the cage, I have no doubt we'll see more of that tonight.
The defender, Charlie Hart, cleared it for the Wildcats successfully as they're up on offense now. Ball's in the stick of number 7, Luke Keller. Gamecocks on defense. Wildcats getting their first offensive possession, just moving it around. Had the ball at X for a moment, now bringing it back up top as both teams make their subs, get the personnel that they want out there, and the Wildcats get ready to attack. In the stick of 36 now. Going to his left, beats one man, pass inside, off the leg of the Gamecocks, and they get the ground ball. Ball's in the stick of the goalie now, and Carolina's in the clear.
When Carolina gets on offense, they're going to have to use all their guys. No need for one guy to kind of do it all. Connor Egan, 17 goals. He's the leading goal scorer. That's light years ahead of everybody. However, everyone on this roster has had chances to score.
Carolina ahead, and they score!
Exactly what I was talking about. Find the open guy. There's Casey Hurley getting his 8th of the year. Exactly what they need to do. Open the offense, find the guy. That's how they're going to expose this New Hampshire defense that likes to play tight games.
Yeah, New Hampshire got caught there in their 10-man ride, brought the goalie out. We're trying to catch Carolina in the clear, but the Gamecocks very quickly got it across midfield, found the wide-open Hurley with a one-on-one with the goalie, and that goal was as good as scored by the time it found his stick. The Gamecocks, like you said, not going with Frith. It will be Michael Nassif for New Hampshire, 44 for the Gamecocks. Carson Healy. Ball still on the deck. Not quite to the restraining line. Both teams still fighting for it. New Hampshire nearly had the ground ball, still fighting for possession. Ball's across the restraining line now. And the Gamecocks come away with it, get it across midfield, and go on offense yet again. Whistle.
Heard a whistle.
Comes, I'm not sure if it was an out of bounds or a penalty at the end of the play. I believe they might say the Gamecocks will keep possession.
Players just as confused as us, it appears.
Looked like there may have been a push or a trip on number 7 for the Gamecocks. Luke Manure, the senior midi, had the ball on his stick. But Carolina with it now. They'll move it behind the cage.
Good scrappy ground ball for the Gamecocks there at the top of the key.
Matthew Mayer up top to Rittenmeyer. Rittenmeyer will hold it and bring it to the middle of the field before looking to dodge, going right with it. His man sticks with him. He's on the short stick. Rittenmeyer works it behind the cage. Up top to Mayer. Mayer going right. One more pass. And the stick of 16, that's Drew Lombell going with it towards the cage. One more pass. And that sails over the head of number 92 for the Gamecocks, out of bounds, and the Wildcats will take over.
Love the quick ball movement there. Just couldn't quite complete that last pass right on the doorstep. They're still knocking the rust off their sticks probably from the spring break they had just a couple weeks ago.
And the Gamecocks are very much a one more pass team. They always try and get as many touches as possible on offense. As New Hampshire still trying to clear it back into the stick of their goalie. And the Gamecocks will pressure him as number 19 brings it across. That's Jackson Seawright in transition for the Wildcats. Now just going to settle down and set up the offense. Both teams making subs, getting the personnel they want out there. Wildcats behind the cage with it now, just moving around. Number 7, Luke Kelleher has it.
With the sun facing the direction of Chris Roth, I was a little curious to see how the Gamecocks would use that, but it looks like the sun is just low enough to where it won't be in his eyesight.
Jonah Eng, the junior midi, with the shot there, missing the cage, just to the left-hand side. The Wildcats were closest to it. They'll retain possession.
New Hampshire likes to slow the ball down on offense a lot, use up all of the shot clock, and find that right play like they need to. That's how they get in those closer games, more lower scoring.
McNeil with it now, going right. Off the screen, number 7, Luke Kelleher. And McNeil behind the cage, guarded by the 22 for the Gamecocks.
Great check.
Ball comes out off the check. Gamecocks get the ground ball swiftly and back in transition. Ryan McNeil nearly took the shot, but lost the ball right before he did.
Good defense from the Gamecocks, not overcommitting to anything, staying in front of their man, and they got the turnover.
Very patient defense as well.
Good cut.
The cutter for the Gamecocks. Casey Hurley gets his second, and a flag flies after the play.
Some words exchanged afterwards, but Casey Hurley's got his second of the night after a great flashy cut towards the cage. In transition, that's that good transition offense the Gamecocks like to have and abuse when they can because they get many goals off the turnovers.
Matthew Mayer had the ball on his stick and served it to Hurley on the cut, who finished that one to get his second in just the first quarter. 10:51 left to play in the first. And we'll see our third faceoff of the night as the Gamecocks take a 2-0 lead.
A couple flags went flying on that play. It looks like they're going to wave those off, though, because of Casey Hurley's finish.
It looked like Hurley finished the play and kind of just, his momentum carried him a little bit into the goalie, into the cage, which it didn't seem like there was much extracurricular after the play, just the nature of a contact sport. As Carson Healy will line up across from Michael Nassif.
Third faceoff, have yet to see Will Frith. Little strategy play from Coach Kirsch Downs.
The Wildcats get the ground ball in Carolina territory, and they're trying to advance it now. That faceoff was won by number 55. That'd be Ben Hickey. as New Hampshire gets it across midline. Number 36 got it. Gavin O'Hara up top. He'll move the ball around to number 7. That's Kelleher with it. And the Wildcats just looking for their first goal still of the night. Gamecocks have 2. And they'd like for this lead to be cut down to 1 in this possession. Wildcats just moving it around again, back up top.
There's that patient defense you were talking about. Just under 5 minutes into this game. Not many shots have been let off except for that one.
Tyler Brang ripped that shot. Misses the goal, though. And now in 2 shots, we've yet to see the Carolina goalie, number 66, have to make a save. Both shots have missed the cage entirely.
One hit a defender in front, and one just went wide. There's another good turnover.
Braden Bowman lost the ball there behind X. Both teams fighting for it. It looks like the official will say Wildcat ball as it went out of bounds. Alex Petrush in the cage for the Gamecocks.
Very good goalie he is.
Shot there from Bobby Girardi.
Point proven.
Stopped by Petrush, his first save of the night. As we see a yard sale, the Gamecocks in transition. And a Wildcat lost his stick. Carolina just trying to move it up.
That's Teddy Russell, All-American.
Taking advantage of the pace of the Gamecocks, now just going back behind the cage. Egan up top, that pass off the mark. Carolina gets thrown ground ball, though.
Second one, we've seen a pass to the doorstep that has just been dropped or just a little too high. Once they can get those down, I think a lot more opportunities are going to come for the Gamecocks.
Yeah, as Matthew Mayer finds the ball on his stick now. We saw John Gerald in the game for the Gamecocks. Both teams just getting their substitutions in the personnel before Carolina attacks. Going to their right, Carolina up top, left-handed shot off the mark. That was John Gerald after he checked in, just taking his first shot. Missed that one low left. Carolina was closest to it. They'll keep possession. Back up top, Carolina. 2 quick passes. Back to the stick of Gerald as he tries to post up a defender. And just stay to his right. Unfortunately, he'll give that one up. Back behind the cage, Carolina working it around again. Mayer dropped that pass but was able to get his own ground ball. Hits the deck. The official call an infraction, and Carolina will keep it as New Hampshire was checking the player on the ground.
Bit of a loose ball trip there. Stay Gamecock ball.
Gamecocks dodging to the left. 29 with it. He'll give it up behind the cage. And that pass just off the mark. Stays in bounds, though. Casey Hurley able to get his own ground ball. Carolina, despite a few mistakes this possession, still with the ball. Still waiting to put one on the cage.
Hurley with the first 2 goals of tonight.
Matthew Mayer with it again. Mayer behind the cage. Trying to work around, getting a shot off the mark. Carolina was closest to it as Mayer took a hard check there that sent him to the ground off the shot. Carolina will bring it in. Moving the ball once.
Nice face dodge.
Donnie Ryan moves it. That one hits the deck. Carolina trying to get their own ground ball. They have it. John Gerald skipping across. 19 for the Gamecocks. The step down just over the goal. The miss there from Luke Tilden, the sophomore. Carolina, though, still retaining the ball. Up top, Casey Hurley. Dodging, has to pass it up. Skip pass up top. Shot.
It's a good grab by Tilden. Unfortunately, a good save by Chris Roth, but another arid pass that goes a bit high that Tilden had to go up there and grab.
And the Wildcat defense has to be tired by this point. Carolina's been able to get numerous rebounds. Shot there from John Gerald just off the mark.
Oh, they're going to give that to the goalie. A good play by Roth getting out of the cage and getting to the line first.
That's a good hustle play from a goalie that would really like to get off the defensive side of the ball.
I bet the defense are very much thanking him when he comes to the sideline.
Henry
Chalbert
Chalbert
go get some water.
skips it ahead as it hits the deck, however. Both teams fighting for the ground ball. The Wildcats come away with it on offense in their own side of the field. Braden Bowman with it now. Slowing it down, setting up the offense. We'll move it into number 50, Jonah Ang, as he comes back on the field. He's got number 3, David Pasella, up top with him. Ang will take it himself, though. Gets past one defender, steps into another, and backs out. Back up top, we'll move it to Ryan McNeil. McNeil over to Pasella. Pasella to his right. Makes one-man miss. Tries to get the ball back inside, but that pass is off the mark.
Good effort play, but it's going to actually work out for the Gamecocks instead.
The Wildcats saved it from going out of bounds, but Carolina was able to come away with the ground ball. Now in transition, 27. Spin move from the pole, going to the cage and just off the mark.
How about Anthony Romano going to the cage?
A shot from Romano, the junior, who has 1 goal so far this season, despite being a deep hole. Fortunately, couldn't get that one to fall. Carolina, though, closest to it when it went out. As Meyer has it. Passes it up top to number 18 for the Gamecocks. Rittenmeyer. Now Egan back in the game.
Egan, we talked about being the leading goal scorer. He really helps this offense get going. Here are his weapons around him, dodging now.
Drew Lombell dodged to his right. He'll move it, though. Trying to get it back up top to Egan off the stick of a New Hampshire defender, though.
Great play by Connor Egan.
Way to box out on that ground ball and save a possession. Connor Egan's got the ball up top by himself.
Like
Lombell and
ready to go
Rittenmeyer,
here.
the 2 other goal scorers, the 2 other shooters in the game with Egan. As Egan going to his left. Once that shot, he gets it. Connor Egan buries his first.
What a goal from Connor Egan. Absolutely takes advantage of the fake pass, gets the defender to turn his head just a tad, and that's going to allow him to get just half a step on his defenseman, separate himself, and get a good shot on goal. It's 3-0 Gamecocks.
3-0 Gamecocks, 2 from Hurley, and Egan, his first of the night, his 18th on the season. On a beautiful shot from the left hand. Egan is a natural lefty at midfield. And on that side of the field is lethal as he hit that right pipe, just keeping the ball within the goal. Ball on the deck. Carolina comes away with it.
Hand goes in there.
We'll call the loose ball trip on the Wildcats.
Good face-off win from Hurley. Gives the Gamecocks another possession as they look to go up by 4 here.
Both teams are going to substitute a little bit. Matthew Meyer up top with it. He'll move it. Luke Tilden had it. Ball back around. Gamecocks just trying to touch as many sticks right now as possible. John Gerald with it. Back behind the cage, number 1 for the Gamecocks. Number 0, excuse me. Up top, Luke Tilden. Beats his defender, going right. Passes the shot. Trying to find a man in front of the crease. Whistle comes, though, as he goes to the deck and misses that shot. It was Donnie Ryan was the intended receiver.
Donald Ryan, a good cut there. Again, just couldn't get the pass to complete. I sound like a broken record here in the first quarter, but once these Gamecocks figure out how to move the ball crisp into their sticks, they're going to have a lot more opportunities.
As Roth will bring it in the goalie for the Wildcats as they're just trying to clear the ball. And a great dodge there by number 42 for the Wildcats to get it across the midline and onto the offensive end of the field so they can start this possession. Up ahead to number 14 with it. It's Tyler Brang bringing it across. Now into the stick of Gavin O'Hara.
The senior, number 14 for New Hampshire, having a pretty good year, 6 goals. Pretty good midfielder.
Luke Kelleher had it, moving it behind the goal to number 21. Back to Kelleher. New Hampshire just trying to move it. Number 36 will dodge. It's O'Hara going to his right. One extra pass and just over the top of the goal from Tyler Brang's shot. The Wildcats will keep it and get another shot at it.
One-on-one from below GLE, as all 5 New Hampshire offensive attackers are up top, and now they're going to spread out some more and go from the top.
Bobby Urardi, number 2 for the Wildcats with it in a stick. Step down. Petrush looked like he deflected it just a touch.
Petrush makes a good save and tried to make that same hustle play Roth made earlier, but New Hampshire had 2 attackmen back there ready to get the ball back.
And it looks like they'll reset the shot clock as well as the ball was off the stick of Petrush.
Good
New
deflection.
Hampshire trying to get it across the front of Petrush's face, but that deflection leads to the incomplete pass. He'll have to set the offense back up again.
Good hand-eye coordination from Teddy Russell there, breaking up the pass and not allowing the New Hampshire Wildcats to get on the board here.
Braden Bowman gives it to Prang. Prang over to Urardi. Urardi keeps the stick in his right. Gets it past Petrush. Wildcats make it 1-3 off the stick of Urardi.
Good shot from Urardi. Bounce shots, we talk to goalies all the time. It's the toughest to save if you can bounce it right at the top of the crease. Urardi did just that and gets New Hampshire on the board.
Yeah, lacrosse ball is a very unpredictable thing when it hits the deck. As Bobby Urardi gets his first. Past the Gamecock goalie. Back in face. He gives it to Prang. Prang over to Urardi. Urardi. Gamecocks will get it on the keeps the stick in his right. Start. Gets it past Petrush. 3:12 left. Wildcats make it 1-3 off the stick. As Carolina's going to make a couple changes. The stick of Mayer. Wants to find Casey Hurley behind the cage.
Gamecocks slowing it down a bit on offense here. They're going to value this possession.
Still Hurley just behind the cage, slowing it down. Trying to use the whole shot clock, it looks like. Hurley, the X-Man, trying to get it up front. Gamecocks past the goalie and in. Matthew Mayer gets his first on the night. Hurley with the assist, and Carolina makes it 4-1.
Looked like Roth made the save there for a second, but a weird bounce, like you talked about, when it hits the ground, it just goes any way it wants to, and luckily for the Gamecocks, it goes into the net. It's 4-1.
Casey Hurley with his 3rd point of the night, and it's 4-1 for the favor of the Gamecocks.
Casey Hurley continuing to step up to that face-off dot. He's done a great job tonight.
Yeah, Healy trying to get it. That ball didn't go far off the clamp. Both teams fighting for the ground ball, but New Hampshire comes away with it. It's in the stick of number 0, Michael Nassif. Out of his stick, though, quickly. Both teams fighting for the ground ball, still around the midfield line. It's across. Gamecocks fielded. It's number 81, the defender. And now Carolina in the clear as they get it across midfield. And just going to try and slow it down, get the ball in a short stick as the Wildcats are still applying pressure. Ball hits the deck on the errant pass, and the Wildcats take it away. It's number 23 now, defender on the offensive end of the field.
Davis Nelson, a good ground ball for the New Hampshire Wildcats. Now they're going to settle it down, and finally somebody's got possession after about 30 seconds of just scrummage at the midfield line.
Braden Bowman had it in his stick. He'll move it to number 21. Back up top to 15, across to 3.
Good one-hand snag
by Bobby Girardi, with the lone goal scorer with a great one-handed catch to save that pass from hitting the ground.
Keeps this possession alive. A very underappreciated, and it won't be a highlight, but you get one extra possession now instead of losing it.
A great dodge by Jonah Eng, trying to get it to Girardi, but that pass just out of bounds.
Couldn't grab that one, and like I said, turnovers gives the Gamecocks more possessions as they're up 3.
Henry Maloney will bring it in for the Gamecocks. He's going to get it to his goalie, Petrush. Petrush just going to skip it across number 10. Back to Maloney. And they'll get it across the midline, 27 with it.
Romano is calling for it at the midline.
Romano inside number 71. Gamecocks score. They get their 5th on the hand of John Gerald in transition.
Great ball movement there. Started with Romano calling for it at the midline. Great clear from the defense, and they find New Hampshire lacking as they were substituting a bit late. Bang, bang play. Gerald's got his first of the night.
And Carolina has shown they are more than able to capitalize in transition if you give them opportunities. South Carolina, both teams actually going to make a change.
Romano was calling for it
at midfield for the faceoff. Carolina
Romano
inside number 71. Gamecocks score. They get their 5th on the hand of John Gerald in transition. A lot on offense. False start. Wildcats, though, will get it. So the personnel change ultimately harms Carolina. So Wildcats will go on offense yet again. Coleman Glazer went early.
A beautiful sunset here in Columbia, South Carolina. It's good to be back and out at the lacrosse field and starting to feel like spring, like you mentioned at the top of the broadcast. Beautiful night for some Monday MCLA action.
Brang going left now is Girardi. He falls.
Nice goal from Yang there. Girardi, excuse me.
Girardi gets his 2nd. Going to the deck with that one to make it 2-5.
Girardi does a great job of switching up his planes of shooting. First one was a bounce shot at the top of the crease. That one was up top and goes top right corner. He's got his 2nd.
Girardi through contact
Beautiful
as well.
Night for some Monday MCLA action.
Glazer will stay in for the Gamecocks at face-off. Girardi. He falls. Nassif and Glazer just fighting for this ball. Comes out off the clamp. Carolina misses their first opportunity in the ground ball. Ultimately ends up in the stick of number 6. As he gets hit as he passes it, Troy Talbot drops it.
Got up kind of looking for a flag there. Thought maybe that was a bit too loose ball or maybe too in the back, but Carolina's going to get the ball here and call a timeout.
It was in the stick of John Gerald, but Coach Kirsch Downs will call his first time out of the night with just 21 seconds left in this first quarter, up 5-2. What do they got to talk about right now?
I think they're going to slow this last possession down. It's kind of like the last shot in basketball. There's 21 seconds left. They're going to kind of bleed off a couple seconds and then set up an offensive play where they can dodge, maybe find the open man, and get one more goal right before the end of the first quarter.
Yeah, when you know how much time you have before a whistle, it's very easy to drop a play that hopefully leaves your opponent with just zeros and no chance to answer back. And in lacrosse, a game of momentum, if you're New Hampshire, you'd love to keep applying pressure on the offensive side of the field right now. You just got one goal. You'd like to capitalize and have another possession where you can go do that. But ultimately, Carolina, depending on what play they can drop in the huddle right now, might have the last shot of this quarter.
And unlike basketball, lacrosse face-offs take so much longer than a basketball inbound because the field is so much bigger. You don't need to wait until the final 2-3 seconds. You can take the shot at 7 to 8 seconds left and just
Feel
tie them
confident.
up at the face-off dive.
Most definitely. However, Carolina's been going with a handful of different face-off guys tonight. We saw Glazer already. We also seen number 35, I believe that was for Carolina, the former short stick D midi Carson Healy, now playing the face-off position.
Yeah, I personally haven't seen Will Frith suited up on the sideline. Maybe he's got a bit of an injury nagging him a little bit. Maybe it's a strategy call from Coach Kirsch Downs. In his first season as head coach, has done a great job, off to a 5-2 start and looking to get the Gamecocks back in the national tournament in Round Rock, Texas.
So Carolina moving it behind the goal. Carson Healy looking for Egan up top. The lefty moves it to Rittenmeyer. Rittenmeyer will dodge. 7 seconds now. Rittenmeyer back to his left. He'll take the shot. Misses the cage right into the stick of another Carolina player just off the keeper. And we'll see zeros across the clock. 5-2 will be your score as the Gamecocks came up empty-handed on 2 shots on that final possession.
Good looks. One just went wide and another saved by Chris Roth right at the horn. Very good defensive stand for New Hampshire there to close out the first quarter.
A great defensive stand, but also watching the rebound, that was a great ground ball with the Gamecocks and getting a second chance shot. That's something you don't always see in lacrosse. On occasion, you'll see a second chance, a bounce or a roll that'll slip past the goalie, but...
Yeah, and he kind of had that mental clock there. You saw that. That comes with lacrosse IQ, where he got it and immediately went back to the cage because he knew how little time left there was.
Most definitely. Because both these teams, we'll talk it over a little bit before we see if New Hampshire can overcome this 3-goal deficit that Carolina put on them early tonight. There's a beautiful sunset right now as we've turned this quarter down. I'm not sure if these teams are looking at that or the scoreboard right now in the huddle.
If I'm on the sideline, I would take a couple glances. Nothing like a good sunset here in Columbia.
Most definitely. It's extremely windy tonight, too, might I add. It's kind of cool down. Sun's going down.
New Hampshire, I'm sure, is not too bothered by the cold. They've probably played in way worse than South Carolina's windy conditions. It snows, feels like all year up there, up in the Northeast.
Yeah, they're certainly used to the cold and the wind, where Gamecocks might just be getting ready for it to be summertime again.
I'm ready for it to be summertime. I do not like the cold. So I went down here.
Couldn't agree more.
Especially you from Florida, huh?
Yeah, most definitely.
Yeah. You get the extreme heat instead of the extreme cold.
Yeah, if it gets down to the 40s, I'm definitely busting out the winter clothes.
No shame in that at all.
We'll see who both teams sent out at faceoff as well for this second half. Looks like number 44, Carson Healy for the Gamecocks. And it'll be number 55, Ben Hickey, 6'3", 220 freshman.
He's a big guy.
So a big guy and a lot of lacrosse ahead of him if he sticks with the sport in college.
Maybe Coach Houlihan and the New Hampshire offense are looking for maybe a more physical face-off, and it looks like it's going to work out for him.
So into his stick, he'll pass it to number 9. That's Hart ahead with it. Although he loses the ball on the check, and Carolina comes away with the ground ball. It was number 15 who picked it up, Tate Snido. As the Gamecocks will get it in their clear, focus on just getting it across the midline and getting a good possession here.
Good breakout by Teddy Russell.
Passes ahead to Russell, and Russell's just going to slow it down, look for a short stick to dump it off to, and set up this offensive possession for Carolina.
Just like we saw Romano getting the ball from Teddy Russell earlier and setting up that fast break where they capitalized. This one's going to be a lot slower. However, the Gamecocks are going to get a good setup for their possession.
Egan's got it now. Rittenmeyer in the game. He'll move it to him. Hurley behind the goal. Over to Stanton. Mayer with it. And Carolina just going to do a whole revolution. Back up top to Egan before even, not Egan, number 16. That's Drew Lomble with it. to his left. His shot just off the cage. Stanton closest to it. Carolina will keep it. The Gamecocks just like to do that. Keep your head on a swivel, move it all the way around the cage before even sending anyone to dodge.
They're a very quick, fast team, and they're going to make you pay if you get caught sleeping at all.
Stanton bringing it in quick from behind the goal. Eats a shot. Ball hits the deck. Both teams fighting for the GB. Official blows the play dead. Penalty. Carolina will retain possession.
Yeah, there's a loose ball hold there, so Gamecocks will get possession.
It'll be Stanton bringing it back in again on the dead ball. Looking to pass, however, this time. Move it around to Rittenmeyer. Up top to Drew Lombell.
Going to slow this down a bit. Looks like Lombell's ready to go. He's clearing his guys through. He's going to quarterback the offense and then move it down the wing.
Rittenmeyer with it now. Puts the stick in his left. High shot. Great save, though, by the New Hampshire keeper as the Wildcats come away with the ground ball as well. Wildcats in the clear. Not much pressure on them, just a free run across the midline. They'll go midi back as the deep hole brings it up.
That was a great ground ball right in front of the cage by Davis Nelson for New Hampshire. Johnny Stanton had a chance to scoop that ground ball up and have a wide open net, but a quick ground ball gives New Hampshire the ball.
Bowman up top to Brang for the Wildcats. Brang guarded by Egan, short stick. Gonna move it, and that pass just off the mark. Carolina will get it back due to the error by the Wildcats.
We were talking about Gamecocks getting a little erred with their passes. New Hampshire is the last team that can do that, especially down 3 against a very hard defense and a very empowering offense.
Up ahead to Hanson. He'll move it to Johnny Stanton behind the cage. The Gamecocks just gonna move it around. Lombell up to Egan. Carolina is keeping Teddy Russell right now in the offensive end of the field before he clears out and they get that short stick back. Behind the cage, Stanton. Hurley with it now. Hurley with 2 goals and assist already to his name. You won the ball on his stick. He'll dodge, give it right back to Stanton. Stanton around, Mayer with it. Up top to Lombell. Looking to dodge, guarded by the short stick, going left. Lombell still with it. Back up top to Rittenmeyer. Rittenmeyer pump fake to Egan. He'll take it himself. A very slow shot off the mark of the cage, but the keeper was able to find it in his stick.
Looked like he was trying to get that to X where Johnny Stanton was set up, and Chris Roth just made a great interception, looking like a safety out there. Now Nelson's going to go, ooh, high pass, good grab for New Hampshire. Almost turnover twice in the last 2 possessions.
Yeah, there was a check on that pass that nearly forced a deflection, but New Hampshire with it comfortably behind the cage now. Just going to move the ball around. Back up top to McNeil. McNeil over to Ang. Right back to him. McNeil's going to dodge. Trying to get a pass in. That's off the mark. Carolina with the ground ball. And back in transition go the Gamecocks. They're going midi back.
Romano with speed. He's going to set up this fast break.
Romano dumps it off. Mayer, his pass deflected. Stanton chasing it, but unable to save it before it goes out of bounds.
Another big defensive play by Davis
But they'll
Nelson.
say Carolina ball as it went off a Wildcat before going out of bounds. The deflected pass means the Gamecocks keep it. And that's a very lucky break for the team that leads by 3 goals.
And that's the right call. Davis Nelson got a stick on that. A very important stick. I think they'll much rather take Gamecock possession other than a wide open net.
So the Gamecocks will change personnel. Luke Tilden in now. Casey Hurley with it too. Going to his right. Hurley dodging. That shot saved by Roth. Ball behind the cage though. Johnny Stanton gets the ground ball. He's going to try and work past 2 defenders. Gets it back to the stick of Hurley. Up top 29 for the Gamecocks. His shot is well off the mark. That'll go out of bounds. Carolina will keep it.
Good job by Mayer getting to that ball first. Stanton's fixing his knee brace, making sure he gets back into the action.
Colin Jung took that shot on the former possession by the Gamecocks. Off the mark. Although he's got 6 goals in the season. We'd like to see one of those players that gets the hot hand maybe tonight. Tilden with it. Goes to a knee, but keeps the ball. Beats his short stick defender. Back to Jung. His shot blocked by Roth out front. Carolina gets it back, and Mayer buries it.
Mayer with a big ground ball in front of the cage. We saw Tilden hit the deck. It did rain a bit over the weekend, so it's a bit slippery, but he did a great job of recovering and continuing his dodge, a couple more passes, and a shot. and it's 6-2 Gamecocks.
That's a big second chance opportunity. Colin Jung took the initial shot, first 2 shots actually. Stick defender. Mayer came away with it. Back to Jung. When you get a big guy, his shot blocked by Roth out front. Carolina gets it back, and Mayer buries it. Getting very hard for a keeper to stop.
Just under 5 minutes into this second quarter, and that was our first goal of the second quarter. Both defenses starting to kind of figure it out now.
South Carolina up 6-2.
Another big face-off win if he can get the ground ball here.
The Wildcats lose the clamp, but as it goes across the restraining line, the Gamecocks pick it up. A little bit of a no-look pass.
Now he's cutting across the seam. He's open. Teddy
He
Russell
gets him nearly. The ball hit the deck, but Teddy Russell comes away with it. And the Gamecocks are on a very efficient clear, particularly through number 10, Teddy Russell, the long stick.
They use every inch in the width of the field. I've seen Teddy Russell, Anthony Romano be on either the sideline, the far sideline, or right in front of us here.
Up top, 44. Healy's got it for the Gamecocks, who we've seen take faceoffs tonight, actually. In on offense. Carolina just going to move it around. Mayer with it. Changing some personnel. They'll bring in Rittenmeyer. Mayer will keep it. Just going to work on his defender. Stick back, it is right on the spin dodge. Step down into the stick of Christopher Roth. And a good save there.
Great kick save right into the net by number 34 in goal. Continuing to put New Hampshire on his back.
Back
be a brick
Roth.
wall in front of the net.
The Wildcats now just getting it across midfield. Going to push the pace a bit now. Flag flies.
Couple flags, one on each side.
And as the Gamecocks make the save, the play will be blown dead. So we might see the Wildcats go in the man up for the first time tonight with 8:49 left before halftime.
Looks like the ref called offsides there on Casey Hurley. Might have taken a step over the midline.
So as the Wildcats were in transition, they couldn't get the goal, but they will get the man-up advantage.
And these are going to be very important for New Hampshire. This is a very hard team to play against. In the Gamecocks, New Hampshire's going to have to take control of these odd man advantages and capitalize whenever they can. They're so valuable.
So Alex Petrush and Carolina's man-down defense is going to be tested now for the first time tonight. We've yet to see really any penalty that's resulted in a man-up situation for either team.
Seen a lot of loose ball stuff, a lot of possession changes, but this is the first real man-in-the-box penalty that we have.
Tyler Brang will bring it in. Moving it around to the New Hampshire Wildcats, up to Ryan McNeil. McNeil gets it to Uriarty. Uriarty keeps it for a minute before passing it back to Brang. Brang with it. Up top. Skip pass inside, hits the deck, but the Wildcats come away with it clean. Number 7 makes 2 men miss and gets it over the top of Petrush. And the Wildcats capitalize. Luke Kelleher gets the 3rd goal of the night for New Hampshire.
A big-time goal for number 7 in blue there. That was the quickest we've seen them move the ball tonight. They really worked that around very quickly. And other than the dropped pass, they really took control, found the dodge, a big move from Kelleher, and he finds the back of the net.
Kelleher was certainly the man they were looking for there. They had him right on the crease. He actually dropped the initial pass they got to him, but ultimately made both defenders that slid to him miss before getting a pretty easy look and dropping it right over Alex Petrush. Face off. New Hampshire wins the clamp, but a good check by number 2 for the Gamecocks. Puts it back on the deck. Teddy Russell with it ahead now. Moves it to 36 for the Gamecocks, and they're back on offense.
New Hampshire fans wanting a penalty there. It goes uncalled from.
Into the stick now of Hurley. Hurley back to Stanton behind the cage. And Carolina's just going to make sure everyone touches it now before they even go to work at the goal.
Each team's getting their respective members out on the field. Looks like we're 6-on-6 and set up again.
Bell comes in the game. As does 29 for the Gamecocks, Colin Jung, the freshman. Behind the goal, just over the top of Johnny Stanton. And a turnover will give the Wildcats the ball back.
New Hampshire sideline starting to get a little active, get a little bit louder. That goal might have sparked something in them. We'll see how that plays out the rest of the second quarter.
New Hampshire bringing it up, switching fields. It's in the stick number 13 now, Henry Jalbert. As he skips it across. Number 15, Andy McDonald. He's just going to let the offense set up. Try and skip that one ahead to 21 for the Wildcats. Both teams make subs. Get the personnel they want. As New Hampshire's going to go ahead and try and build on the momentum they got from the last possession. Ball hits the deck, though. 14 away. It comes away with the ground ball cleanly. Into 36 for New Hampshire.
Great check by
and
Teddy Russell.
Great check by Russell. And then a behind-the-back pass ahead to number 22 for the Gamecocks. So they're running the clear and back on offense. Into the stick of Casey Hurley.
Looked like DeLuca wasn't really expecting that behind the back from a pole. That's tough to do as a pole.
Stanton trying to get it inside. That off the mark. Picked up, though, by the Gamecocks as they're just going to reset on offense. Up top to Matthew Mayer.
Jack Parkin staying on offense there for a little bit, getting a good ground ball for the Gamecocks, retaining possession. Now he's going to come off. Luke
Tilden has the ball in his stick, just going to work to his right. Kind of poking and prodding at that Wildcat defense. But he'll make a long pass up top to Rittenmeyer. As Rittenmeyer's the man who will dodge. Going to his right. Tries to dump it off to Casey Hurley, but into the stick of Roth. And a good stop there by the Wildcats.
You got to change planes there. You can't go right at his stick. You got to go either high or lower than that.
Stick side high is not generally the place to shoot the ball.
Goalies love it when you shoot it there because it's the easiest to, they don't have to move. They could just keep their stick right there, and it's just a hard pass. It's the equivalent of a hard pass. Change planes, change direction. That ball will go in the net.
Kelleher behind with it. Moving it now. Up to number 5, Braden Bowman. Across to Ryan McNeil, as he might go to work on the short stick defender. McNeil to his right. Gets it back to X. New Hampshire just working behind the cage. Number 5 trying to get one off. It was between him and Petrush.
Good hustle play from Petrush, just like we saw in Roth earlier. Both goalies getting out of their cage and getting active.
So Braden Bowman's shots chased down by Alex Petrush to give Carolina the ball back. As they're going to move it in transition.
Another
pass
good clear
ahead to Teddy Russell. They run it so well.
They really do. They really spread the field, and New Hampshire just tends to lose guys when they're on each sideline. And it's either Russell or Romano who's always open, it seems.
Egan with it after he ate one check. Moves it across. Talon Bell. That shot just off Roth. Johnny Stanton wanted his first of the night.
Big time save by Roth off the right shoulder. That was going top left from Stanton. Stanton's got a hard shot. That's no easy save to make.
It's a very impressive save as the Gamecocks will retain the ball. Matthew Mayer will bring it in from X. Mayer with a stick in his left. Just off the pipe. Ball's out in front, though. Rittenmeyer gets it, moves it behind to Egan, and Carolina will get another chance after that near miss. Egan, stick in his left, trying to post up his defender. Goes low, misses the cage, just left off the deflection. Both teams chasing it.
Diving effort there. Not going to reward him enough. It's going to be the Gamecocks ball still.
Egan with a good shot there after posting up his defender, trying to get as close to the crease as possible, but missed right off the foot of a defender or the keeper.
Roth doing a great job on this possession. He's made a couple huge saves to keep New Hampshire in it.
Tilden behind the cage, looking to shoot through the double team. Ball hits the deck, though. Both teams want that ground ball on the far side. Comes away, Wildcats. Over the head to number 9. A very fortunate bounce into the stick of Charlie Hart. A flag flies. Carolina picks it up, and it looks like the Wildcats might go man up for the second time tonight.
Some jarring over there between Johnny Stanton
and number 19.
And Ben Chase there. Ben Chase got hit a little off the ball. He was a little upset about that, but New Hampshire's going to get a man up out of it. It's going to be their second of the night.
And they were able to capitalize last time they got that man up power play. We'll see if they can cut this lead down to 6-4. Start chipping into that deficit. 4:18 before halftime.
6-3 is the score, like you mentioned. It's going to be good if they can stay within a couple goals. Just stay in it the whole night. That's New Hampshire's game plan. They've been moving the ball around a lot quicker. A lot of the first quarter was dancing around, maybe finding that one dodge. Now it's move the ball around, find the open man, cut some more off ball. And we're going to see that a lot, I think, on this next man up.
Yeah, you got to stick to your brand of lacrosse, but also putting shots on goal is the name of the game in New Hampshire's.
Sean Houlihan is not afraid to do that and try some different strategies in order to get the wins.
Pasella had it, moving it around to Kelleher. Kelleher across. Back behind the cage. New Hampshire's already gotten everyone to touch the ball on offense so far. Ball movement's the name of the game and the man up. Pacella's got it. He'll move it. Back to him. Moving it again. And they're just playing a game of hot potato, looking for that man up, trying to make Carolina's defense run as much as possible. Going to the cage. Stuffed by Petrush.
In the crease.
They'll say the man was in the crease. It was number 5, Braden Bowman, with the shot. But Carolina will come away with a great stop. Their first stop in the man-down defense tonight.
Now New Hampshire has an extra guy on this clear, so it's going to be a lot harder for the Gamecocks to get that clear going.
Russell and
Looks like they're gonna
Petrush
do
just playing a game of hot potato, trying to move it up. Russell bringing it across himself in an impressive man-down clear by the
Clearing
Gamecocks.
continues to be a big strength for the Gamecocks. Teddy Russell being kind of the quarterback for that.
Russell was in no rush to give the ball up as well, just trying to kill this penalty. Into the stick of 29 for the Gamecocks, though, now. Colin June's just going to hold it.
Timeout called by the Gamecocks. They're going to talk this over as they kill off the rest of this penalty, a man down.
And a good call. This is right when you want to strategize, I think. You're in the man down. You've been man down once before, and you saw how good New Hampshire was when they were man up. You would like to protect this lead, and I think Coach Kirch Downs understands that this is a time where strategy comes into play. You know, your higher lacrosse IQ could benefit you now.
I think he's very proud of his defense for stopping them there. New Hampshire is 1 for 2 on the man-up possessions here tonight. That's an improvement from where they scored the first time. There was a shot there, but a good physical play, not biting on anything too aggressively. He stays in front of him and forces his man into the crease.
Yeah, with just 3 minutes before halftime as well, you'd like to preserve this lead if you're the Gamecocks. And if you're the Wildcats, especially heading into the locker room at halftime, you'd love to make 3 goals, 2 or 1.
Halftime is where you make all your big adjustments, and if, like you mentioned, if the Gamecocks can go into halftime with a bit of a 3-4 goal cushion, that's going to really give them some breathing room as they go into the second half.
Absolutely. And this isn't showing signs of becoming much of a shootout in the second half. It's cold out here. It's windy. It's hard to move the ball. It's hard to shoot the ball. We've only seen 9 goals so far in the first half. I don't see either of these teams hitting that 14, 15 goal mark and blowing out their opponent. This is definitely going to be one that becomes scrappy. Every goal is going to matter a lot. And that's a time where really, like you saw Kirch Downs, you want to call a timeout because you can't afford really to give up a single goal tonight.
Yeah, at the top of the broadcast, I was talking about how the Wildcats love to play in these tighter games. In their first few games of the season, they've played 5. In their first 4 wins, they've only given up 13 goals. So they don't score a whole lot. They beat you with their defense, but looks like they're going to have to get some more goals back here tonight. But they're starting to figure out the Gamecocks offense. 5 goals from the first quarter from South Carolina. Only 1 this second quarter. They're going to look to get 1 more here, as it looks like we're back to 6-on-6 action.
So like you said, the penalty released. June over to Matthew Mayer into the stick of Connor Egan. As the Gamecocks would love to help grow this lead, particularly after getting a good stop, man down. Casey Hurley with it. Sticking his right, working around the crease.
That went in.
And that went in. Sneaks it past Roth from a very tight angle to make the lead 4. 7-3 is your score. Unless they're saying it was outside the net, it looks like the officials bringing the ball up for a face-off.
And the ref blew his whistle after they scored there. Gave
the official's talking to the defense right now. He might be indicating that.
letting Captain Teddy Russell know what's going on. We're still not quite sure. Looks like New Hampshire's going to have the ball.
New Hampshire will have a fast break, basically, getting the ball.
So the goal is good. Looks like after the whistle, there was some taunting by the Gamecocks, and instead of a penalty, I think they're just going to give New Hampshire a free possession.
So while Casey Hurley gets his hat trick for the night, there will be no face-off, and the Wildcats will just start on offense on this next possession.
That ball just squeaked in, just got into that top left corner.
It was an extremely tight angle. Hurley was working from behind the cage to get that one in. As the Wildcats now just moving it around on offense. Trying to get it past the Gamecocks. It's a great trail check. Gets the ball on the deck. They'll call loose ball push. Wildcats will get it back.
Great check by Troy there. Number 6, wearing white for the Gamecocks. He got beat on the initial jump, but really stuck with it, fought back, and got the ball on the ground.
So Gamecocks on defense. Behind the cage. Kelleher working with it. Moves it. Ball hits the deck, though. Both teams want it. And a great ground ball by the Gamecocks to get back in the clear. They'll move it across to Russell now. And just trying to get it back in the offensive end of the field after a very good stop.
Another great clear from the Gamecocks.
Up ahead to 8 and into the offensive end of the field. The Gamecocks can now settle it down a little bit, protect this possession, go back to work on offense. John Stanton has it in his stick.
Luke Kelleher was showing his frustration there after the Gamecocks cleared it again. The New Hampshire attackers starting to get a little uneasy with how easily the Gamecocks have been able to clear the ball.
Luke Tilden's got it. Moves it. Back to Tilden. Up top to number 55 for the Gamecocks. At Donnie Ryan with it in his stick. Going to his right. Just forcing his short stick to Midi inside. Trying to play a game of who's stronger. Just posting him up. He'll move it behind the goal, though, to Hurley. Back up top. And the Gamecocks just moving around. Stanton with the shot. Off the stick of Roth. In front of the cage. It's a scrum. It's the Wildcats will come away with it.
Another good play from Nelson, wearing 23 for Blue. He's been very strong tonight.
And the Wildcats break away from the herd with the ground ball. In transition. Marked up, and a great deflection. Gets the ball on the deck. Number 27 for the Gamecocks just pushing the pace, trying to get it back on offense, and he will. You love the transition defense from the Carolina Gamecocks there. The Wildcats push the pace.
Romano and Teddy Russell have been doing such a great job on defense for the Gamecocks here tonight. They've been leading the pack with turnovers and deflected passes. They've just been on it tonight.
Luke Tilden's got it. Going to his right, kind of working off of a bit of a false screen there. Tilden still got it. Up top to Egan with the long pass. Egan now attacking his short stick defender. Draws the slide. Egan will pull it from way out. Misses the cage just barely. Roth was there. Carolina will keep it, though. John Stanton will bring it in.
One-on-one, it looks like, from behind the cage. Johnny Stan, All-American player. He's used to this kind of ball. Now looks like his teammate's going to come maybe set up a pick there. There's Tilden.
Stanton guarded by Davis Nelson. Moves off the screen. Only 5 seconds before halftime. Stanton just trying to get the ball inside. Into the stick of Egan. Egan, a low shot. Into the stick of Roth, who will just drop it down as we're going to halftime. 7 goals to the name of the Gamecocks. 3 to the New Hampshire Wildcats.
A great first half from both those teams. A hard-fought second.
Moves off the screen.
Getting one
Only
or 2
5 seconds
goals.
before halftime.
I'm very excited.
Stanton just trying to get the ball inside. Into the stick of Egan. Egan, a low shot. Into the stick of Roth. Good first half lacrosse. Who will just drop it down in this sport. Go away in a hurry. But we'll be back here in just a moment for more Carolina lacrosse as the New Hampshire Wildcats will attempt to mount a comeback here in the second half. Welcome back. We've got the second half underway here in just a moment. Carolina Gamecocks versus the New Hampshire Wildcats. The score is 7-3. Both teams have just taken the field. We've got 30 minutes of lacrosse played. See who's got this game in the bag. Number 44, Carson Healy comes away with it for the Gamecocks on the faceoff. And they'll start this second half with possession. Working it behind the cage now is Carolina. Matthew Mayer with the ball on his stick now as they're going to move it around a little bit. Up top to Connor Egan. Egan's got Rittenmeyer to his right. He'll move it. Rittenmeyer. Down to number 71, John Gerald. Behind the cage. Looks like Johnny Stanton back there, back up top for the Gamecocks.
Ooh.
Dropping the shoulder and burying it is number 29, Colin Jung. The freshman gets his 7th goal in the year to put the Carolina Gamecocks up by 5 coming into the third quarter.
Colin playing bully ball there, absolutely. Bull dodges through his
Like
defender.
Johnny Stanton back there, back up top.
The first of the second half.
The Gamecocks. And in a game of momentum, that's a
Dropping
huge
the shoulder
way to come
and
out,
burying
punch your
it is
opponent
number
in the mouth for the
29.
first few seconds of this third quarter.
I was thinking for a second they were going to take a more methodical approach because that's what they were doing. And then Jung said, nope, let me go score real quick.
Jung just lowered the shoulder and had a great shot. Slipped it right past Roth. And kind of sending the message that if the Wildcats are going to want to come back and win this game, they're definitely going to have to earn it. Now it's Glazer back in at face-off for the Gamecocks. They'll say infraction, though. He went too quick. No, they're going to call it a number 55 for New Hampshire. As Carolina is going to go back on offense. Moving it around. Matthew Mayer's got it on the left-hand side of the field. He'll start moving his feet, get it up top to Egan. Egan's got Jung to his right. Across to John Gerald. And Carolina, again, is trying to get everyone to touch the ball pretty much before they start going to work. Mayer back up top to Jung. Jung scored last time he had the ball on his stick. Working to his left. He'll shoot again and gets it past Roth. 2 in the blink of an eye for Colin Jung.
Heat check for number 29 in white. He's got 2.
Looks like Johnny Stanton back there, back up top. The freshman, the Gamecock, picks up 2 goals to start the third quarter. Dropping the shoulder and burying it is number 20. Carolina's just building on their existing lead. And whatever Coach Kirsch Downs had to say at halftime, obviously got this squad pretty motivated to come out here in the second half.
Yeah, safe to say adjustments were made for the Gamecocks Lacrosse Club as they are on a roll here, and a new face-off guy for the Gamecocks.
Yeah, the Gamecocks have Glazer in and then Ben Hickey in at face-off for New Hampshire. Glazer and Hickey just going for the ball. Comes out for Glazer. Picking it up, going to his right and into the offensive end of the field. Gamecocks get possession. His pass, though, just a little bit low. Carolina's just going to fight for this possession. They got the ground ball back and now just trying to get into a place they're comfortable enough to make their substitutions and go to work on offense. Matthew Mayer with it. I'm just going to slow it down. Find their groove.
Back onto the field comes the red-hot Colin Jung.
And Coleman Glazer, the sophomore, like we mentioned, has been taking the face-offs for Carolina in this second half.
Bench wants Jung to go again. He's going to dodge for a 3rd time here.
Jung's got 2. Ball in his stick in his left. He'll move it to Mayer. Mayer behind the cage to Stanton. Stanton just moving it around. Still behind the cage. Carolina's going to dodge from X. Moving left. Losing his footing, though, and the stick comes out. Rittenmeyer lost it. Both teams fighting for the ground ball. Still nobody has it, and Rittenmeyer gets his own. But no, they'll call. Was it a loose ball push?
Yeah, it appeared to be a loose ball push.
Whistle's still blowing.
Yeah, refs kind of talking to both benches, it looks like here. Andy McDonald got kind of blown up there in the corner, but he wasn't really anywhere near the ball.
So it'll be Davis Nelson bringing it in for the Wildcats on the dead ball. The officials are talking. I don't know if they'll upgrade it from a loose ball penalty to an actual penalty. No, they won't. So Nelson going to advance it. Gamecocks riding him pretty hard in that end of the field. He'll move it to Roth, the goalie. And he's almost 30 yards out of the goal before he skips it up to number 2. That's Bobby Girardi, who's got 2 goals already tonight. Pushing the pace. Trying to get one inside to number 5, Bowman. New Hampshire is just going to pass it back out top to Brang and set up their offense, trying to answer Carolina's 2 goals. They came out and scored quickly in this third quarter. 36 with it now, working to his right. Shot. Petrush, though, gets it in his stick.
Immediate breakout for the Gamecocks. They see Petrush make the save and immediately look upfield.
Gavin O'Hara had the shot there, and Petrush going from having the stick high in his right hand to down, making a save low at his left ankle. Showing off the reflexes.
Another good clear for the Gamecocks. That's been a very important strength for them tonight if they can keep these possessions and
Carolina
get the ball
ahead.
out of their zone.
Shot. Mayer. Goal. Carolina gets their 9th already.
We were talking about bounce shots earlier. Mayer gets one there, and it goes in top corner. Again, very hard for a goalie to get the ball out of their zone. When the ball, you have no idea which direction it's going to go once it hits the
Carolina gets their 9th already. Number 92, the freshman midi, Matthew Mayer, goes from having just 2 goals on the season to a hat trick tonight, making his total 5 all year and 3 just this evening, as well as an assist, I believe. So he is just loading up points. And the whole
Gamecocks have their guys both offensively and defensively tonight who are just leading the way. Mayer and Hurley on offense, Russell and Romano on defense.
Carson Healy back out for the Gamecocks at the faceoff.
Can't forget Petrush in goal.
Going away from Coleman Glazer, as did the Wildcats. They brought number 75 out for the face. Both teams still just fighting for it. Loose ball now into the stick of 24. No, still loose on the deck. Wildcats come away with it.
Great pressure, though, from the Gamecocks. They double-teamed the ball when it was on the ground. They were getting physical. New Hampshire lucky enough to get away with the ball.
Braden Bowman ultimately was the one picking up the ground ball. We had a 75 for New Hampshire as well, taking the face-off, who's not listed on their official roster. Going right is New Hampshire, and absorbing the hit is David Pasella. He gets it backed up top to 50, who shoots and misses. Jonah Eng shot saved by Petrush as Carolina's back in the clear, just trying to get the ball ahead. It'll be number 8, just advancing it, looking for help, and kind of just throwing that one away. Gamecocks couldn't save it. It'll be a Wildcat ball.
We've seen the Gamecocks make a couple mistakes, just overshooting their man here tonight. They've got to lock those down a little bit here in the second half of the season.
As the ball hits the deck, though, while the Wildcats trying to advance it, both teams fighting for the ground ball, and it'll end up in the stick of the Gamecocks. Now pushing the pace is 81. Gets it across to Johnny Stanton. Stanton with the stick in his right. Still trying to push pace. Tries to find John Gerald on the crease, and he drops it. Ball on the deck still now. Wildcats come away with it. Carolina putting pressure.
Another missed pass leads to New Hampshire pressuring back the other way. Good speed there.
The Wildcats will pressure. It's number 19 bringing it across midline. That's Ben Chase. He's going to give the ball to Bobby Girardi, and that man's got 2 goals. If you want to get somebody hot, it might be Girardi on offense.
Settling, waiting, setting up their offense. Like you mentioned, Girardi having a good night here.
Tyler Brang, back to Girardi.
Looks like he wants the ball back, and he's going to move it up top again.
Back to Brang. Tyler Brang, the senior midfielder, goes to his left.
Good screen.
Moves off the screen. Quick pass to X. Trying to find Girardi back up top, off the mark. New Hampshire will keep it on their end of the field. It was O'Hara who saved it and got the ground ball. Now New Hampshire just moving around. 14, Brang going to his left. He'll move it inside. New Hampshire not attacking. It's Bowman with the ball on his stick. Couple pump fakes. Back inside to 14. Across to number 7 for New Hampshire. Just skipping it around. O'Hara finally shot it. Deflected out front, though. A flag will fly as New Hampshire Wildcat hit the deck. And it looks like they may go in the man up with the loose ball.
South Carolina has been playing a much more physical second half here. They're really dropping their shoulder and getting into their guys.
And South Carolina's a team that is used to, definitely seeing some penalties. They're physical. They wanted to come in and defend their house. But ultimately giving New Hampshire 3 man-up situations without having been granted one yet is definitely just putting a little more gray hair on Coach Kirchdown's head.
Yeah, they definitely want to set the tone, but 50% on the night for man-ups. For the Wildcats, they're going to look to up that percentage just a little bit and go 2 for 3 here. If they can get another goal, that'll give them a good spark here getting back into this game as the Gamecocks have kind of taken over the game here in the third quarter.
Yeah, if you're going to erase a 7-goal deficit, you've got to get that first one now.
Time to get a spark, get your bench back into it. We saw when they got that third goal to cut the lead in half. The bench was behind them. It was looking like New Hampshire had all the momentum. They just couldn't capitalize as much.
And even though it's a Monday night, this is a very hard place to travel into. Columbia is not a very welcoming environment if you're a opposing competitor on an athletics field.
Looks like Romano got hammered with that penalty there. It looks like he might be locked in for maybe 2 minutes there. I think they called a hit to the head, and the refs don't want to see that.
Wildcats in the man up, going to move the ball around a little bit. Quick shot from number 3. That's just off the mark. They'll keep it, though.
If this is a locked-in penalty, this is huge for New Hampshire to get a couple goals, because locked-in means if you score once and there's still time on the penalty, you're still a man up. You'll take a face-off, but you're still a man up and have that man advantage. Go ahead and get as many goals here as you can.
Braden Bowman behind. His pass off the mark and out of bounds. Carolina's going to get it back. And even though they're man down, they're going to have to try and clear. And hopefully eat a little bit of this penalty if they're going to preserve this lead. Going left, and a great check by the Wildcats gets the ball right back. The proximity to the sideline meant it went right out of bounds off the stick. And the Wildcats are on offense as soon as they lost it. Once again, man up. It's in the stick number 10 now, Brady Kittler. Moving it around, Bowman's got it. Bowman across to Pasella. Around, that shot off the mark.
The South Carolina rugby team kind of pulling up to cheer on their Gamecocks, their fellow Gamecocks here on a Monday night.
Even though the lead is 7, we've got 8 minutes left in the third quarter. There's a crowd building now. Intercepted was the pass. Teddy Russell got it in his stick. And a huge stop there from the Carolina defense man down. As that pass, though, hits the deck during the clear, the Wildcats are just fighting to pick it up. It ends up with McNeil. McNeil trying to get it back past Petrouche. He blocks it.
A great save from Petrouche. That was a hard shot going for the corner. Petrouche just gets enough on it to make the save.
Looks like Connor Egan's got the ball on his stick. Fakes the pass as he's just trying to get it across midfield. He's just surrounded by Wildcats eating checks. Egan now ahead to number 44, Carson Healy. Healy going to move it around now to 21 for the Gamecocks. Excuse me, 71, John Gerald. Now across to Matthew Mayer. Mayer all the way behind to Carson Healy. Back to Mayer.
Still trying to kill this long penalty. The Gamecocks still 5-on-6, a man down.
Yeah, Carolina's not trying to score right here necessarily. They just do not want to permit a turnover. As Johnny Stanton takes a shot behind the goal, ultimately he'll lose the ball. Wildcats back in transition. Trying to get ahead, they do. It's number 28 with it now.
Stanton kind of ran into a wall there as there's a turnover by New Hampshire.
Ball hit the deck. Carolina now in transition. Number 2 ahead with it. He's pushing pace. Bouncing shot over the top of the goal, but Johnny Stanton was close to it, so they'll keep it.
Anthony Spano, good move in their own zone to get out of there. And a good shot attempt just went just over the cage.
Stanton will skip it up to Mayer off the dead ball start. And Mayer just putting his back to the defender and holding the ball. Up top, Rittenmeyer.
Penalty is cleared now. We are back to 6-on-6 action.
Luke Tilden came in as the penalty cleared, and the Gamecocks with possession at full strength. As Tilden goes to the deck, though, Wildcats get the ground ball. Rittenmeyer throwing some checks on him on the clear.
I mentioned it rained this past weekend. We've seen a lot of people slip here in the second half. It looks like it's getting colder, maybe a little more wet, a little more slippery.
So as the Wildcats turned it over before they got across the midline, Carolina right back on offense without even having to run too far. John Gerald's got it.
That was a great penalty kill by the Gamecocks there. That was a long 2 minutes locked in.
Luke Tilden's got it. Stick in his right. Shot just off the pipe. Roth forced it outside. Carolina will keep it. And like you said, a great penalty kill by the Gamecocks, not only helping build on their lead in the second half, but protecting it on defense.
Yeah, no goals allowed there. That's big.
Johnny Stanton bringing it in. Spin move and a crossover. Behind the goal, kind of just holding it again, killing clock. Gets in the stick of Rittenmeyer, and a great save by Christopher Roth. A lot of contact on that far sideline. Whistles come. I'm not sure if it was a loose ball foul or out of bounds.
Yeah, there's been a lot of smack talk going on between these two teams tonight. It's just the heat of the moment, and It's starting to really get physical out here.
Gamecocks retained possession. Up top to 29, Colin Chung, who's got 2 goals this second half. Spin move on his defender. He'll skip it across. Tilden shot deflected. And they'll say Carolina ball. As 2 players were both fighting hard to get to the sideline and try and chase that one out of bounds.
The bench was very excited once Colin Chung got the ball there. They want the freshman to go get his hat trick. He's having a great night.
That would make 3 players in the hat trick column for the Gamecocks. Mayer and Hurley already have 3 goals to their names, respectively.
Here's Redmeyer.
Redmeyer going right, beats his short stick defender. Christopher Roth with a great save out in front. Wildcats got the ground ball at first, ultimately lost it. Redmeyer got it back.
The ball was under the stick. Redmeyer got checked there after a good shot attempt. We haven't called his name too much tonight.
Yeah, Redmeyer was yard sailed as he picked up the ground ball. Wildcats safely across the midline and back on offense. Still trying to just chip into the 7-goal deficit the Gamecocks have put on them. Number 3 has it. David Pasella just slowing it down. Skips it up to Jonah Ang.
New Hampshire getting their respective offensive members out on the field. Now they're going to dodge from the point.
Ang going right. Trying to get it inside. That pass hit the deck, though. Number 5, Braden Bowman will get the ground ball, so Wildcats will keep it.
4 minutes to go here in the third quarter.
Pasella, now McNeil. McNeil back to Pasella. Quick pass inside and just off the mark. Wildcats will turn it over.
Mentioned a couple times that the Gamecocks were making aired passes. New Hampshire was doing a very good job of controlling the ball there in the first half. We've seen a few go awry here in the third quarter.
It looked like number 12 for the Gamecocks, Colby Morales, just dropped the ball when he was bringing it in. But now in the clear. And that pass off the mark.
Nice little play there.
He was looking for Henry Maloney. It was just too high for him, but he skipped it ahead. Connor Ang got the ground ball. And looked like he slowed the pace up as the Gamecocks brought it back on offense, just possessing this ball. 3:21 before we head to the fourth quarter, and Carolina just going to try and take as much clock as they can before going to work. They'll change personnel.
Here's Donald Ryan.
55, Donald Ryan keeps the ball. They'll say push.
We're going to say moving screen. Looks like
Wildcats
Mayer
get it back.
was moving as he was setting his feet.
Couple checks on O'Hara as he brings it across. Ben Chase with it for the Wildcats. Moving it up top. Setting up the offense is the Wildcats in the stick of 44. Ryan Carmichael.
Crowd letting him hear it. Flag down on the field. Looks like it's going to be on the Gamecocks. Not sure what for. It was on the other side of the field.
You could hear it over the broadcast there as Kelleher dropped that pass. The crowd's definitely going to let him know when he did something wrong.
Gamecocks have 7 defensemen out there, so it looks like it was just a too many men penalty is going to be coming up. New Hampshire going to look to try and capitalize immediately.
Prang behind the goal. Again, trying to get that ball inside, and that pass just off the mark. New Hampshire and Carolina fighting for that ground ball as it goes out of bounds. The stoppage of play, though, means Carolina will go man down for the 4th time tonight.
New Hampshire has not scored since that first man up, so the man-down defense has been solid for the Gamecocks, but the more chances you give them, the more they're going to capitalize sooner than later.
Yeah, and the price of an aggressive brand of lacrosse is going in that man-down situation on occasion. Only 2 minutes and 9 seconds before we head to the fourth quarter. Gamecocks lead by 7, but the Wildcats have an opportunity to cut into that lead now. Bobby already had it, moving it around.
Like to see New Hampshire move the ball around a lot quicker.
Shot there quickly from David Pasella. Out of bounds, Wildcats will get another shot.
That was a hard shot, just went a little too high.
Sometimes when you feel like you're open like that, you'll take it from anywhere.
Get a little excited. I've been there before, trust me.
Brady Kittler moving it up top. Number 7 had it, Luke Kelleher. Ground ball goes to David Pasella. Pasella trying to get inside to number 5. Over the top of Petrush, and he buries it. Braden Bowman, the freshman attackman, gets his first goal tonight.
Been waiting to call Bowman's name kind of all night. He's been a bit quiet. The freshman attackman gets his 7th of the season.
Despite being a freshman, like you said, he's got 6 goals already in the season and 2 assists to his name. Pasella trying to get inside at number 5. Over the top of Petrush, and he buries it. Braden Bowman, the freshman attackman.
Braden Bowen out of New Hampshire. He stayed in state.
So we'll see Carson Healy back at the face-off for the Gamecocks. Looks like it might be number 55, Ben Hickey.
It's been pretty windy all night, but it's definitely more consistent now, and the wind gusts are getting a lot stronger.
Healy comes away with the face-off. That pass intercepted, though. Wildcats get it. A good check puts on the deck. Wildcats get it back. In transition goes New Hampshire. A triple team and a flag flies.
Another flag. A lot of the fans don't agree with that call, but a 5th man up coming for New Hampshire, and they're starting to capitalize, like I mentioned.
So the Gamecocks were just smothering that New Hampshire pull, and ultimately he was rewarded with the penalty. It's hard to triple team somebody in the open field and not have a stick go somewhere it shouldn't be.
Yeah, right in front of the ref as well. It was kind of hard to get out of that one, but
you also have to tip your hat at this point to New Hampshire, going almost 3 full quarters penaltyless.
Very sound, fundamental defense. Gamecocks have done a great job kind of getting around it. But a mature, safe, not too aggressive defense. It's exactly what you need. They just need more offense. 4 goals is not going to win you a lacrosse game. And there's still a lot of time left to be played. There's a lot left to be scored, but New Hampshire's got to capitalize more on their possessions now than ever.
Brady Kittler brought it in, the freshman attackman. Inside to 7. New Hampshire just moving around, looking for that best shot against this man-down defense. That pass off the mark. Both teams fighting for the ground ball. It comes up Gamecocks.
Nice move there from Charlie King. He's going to use his speed and get out of the zone.
And King's just saying he'll take it himself as he ultimately loses it right as he crosses the midline.
That ball bounced right over Casey Hurley's stick. Or excuse me, Carson Healy.
Both teams fighting for it.
Oh my goodness.
It comes up Gamecocks again. Flags out as well. Into Stanton. Stanton loses it out to the right-hand side on the shot. And it looks like Carolina might go man up, or we'll see some 4-on-4 lacrosse.
Yeah, for the first time tonight, Stanton, that shot looked like it just came out of his stick weird. Looks like he didn't maybe have all of it in the pocket. It went way right.
Yeah, he got about 1 crow hop in between when he caught that ball and went to shoot it and lost it about 45 degrees right of the ball in transition. I like how you're pushing the pace, but ultimately you got to make sure that rock's in the stick before you fire that one.
So it looks like the Gamecocks penalty has been cleared. So we will get a Gamecock man up for the first time here tonight.
With only 30 seconds before we head to the 4th quarter, though. Carolina up 6. It'll be John Gerald bringing in the dead ball for the Gamecocks. He'll move it behind the cage. Working it around. Matthew Mayer with it. Up top to Jung. Egan, shot, goal! Carolina gets their 11th tonight.
What a shot from Connor Egan. He's got a cannon, the grad student. And he finds the back of the net. And a key goal for the Gamecocks.
Egan, shot, goal!
Continuing to build that big cushion.
Carolina gets their 11th tonight. That's his 2nd on the
what
night.
A shot from Connor.
Big lefty. Just got it in space and ultimately buried it from range.
Already closing in on 20 goals this year in 7 games. That's hard to do. This is their 8th. The wind is blowing towards the New Hampshire goal, so maybe that you got a little help there from the wind and Mother Nature. But nonetheless, a hard, powerful shot from Connor Egan as there's a hold on the Gamecocks.
So the face-off goes Wildcats. As they're on offense now, working to the right is number 19. He hits the swim dodge on his man, trying to take it himself, and gets it past Petrush. Gamecocks lose 1 more. As it was number 19, Ben Chase, getting his first goal of the evening.
The D-Midi Ben Chase. That's a big-time goal for New Hampshire, answering immediately to the Gamecocks goal.
He hits the swim dodge on his man, trying to take it himself.
Gets
it past Patrouche. Gamecocks lose one more.
11-5 as we go into the fourth.
Like you said, 11-5. Ben Chase shooting it there without the shot clock. Right out of the transition from the face-off infraction. And we've seen a little bit of scoring action. Both teams lighting it up as we head to the fourth quarter. We're going to see who wants it more with 15 minutes of lacrosse to be played on this windy Monday night here in Columbia.
Ben Chase's first goal of the season for New Hampshire. They've got a lot of work to do, and it's going to be difficult against this powerful Gamecocks defense, but they're gonna try and claw their way back in here, down 6.
Lacrosse is a game of momentum, absolutely. A 6-goal lead is never safe at any time. But if the Gamecocks keep playing and keep shooting like they have and can stay disciplined here in the fourth quarter and not give New Hampshire opportunities to close that lead, you think 6 goals could be something they could take care of and get out of here with their 6th win of the season?
What the Gamecocks need to do this fourth quarter is stay out of the box. They've gotten into a bit of trouble tonight here, getting in sticky situations, getting a little too physical at times. They need to control it, stay sound on defense, and stay in front of their man. No need to blow up the guy.
Yeah, most definitely. You save those SC top 10 clips for the first couple quarters. When you're trying to protect a lead, might not be the time to
score some SC top 10 goals instead. That'll help in the win column. However, a physical defense is very important. You don't want to just use your stick. You want to use the body as well and get on them. Just finding the right line between penalty and hard, aggressive defense is the key to the game.
So fourth quarter action's underway. At the face-off mark, looked like the Wildcats almost got it. They'll give the ball back to the Gamecocks on an infraction. Looked like it was stuck in the face-off man's stick. It's the illegal procedure.
Yeah, the rule is you cannot take more than 2 or 3 steps with it in the back of your stick. You got to get it out immediately, and it looks like it just got stuck. Unfortunate for New Hampshire.
It's going to take luckier breaks than that for the Wildcats to climb back from a 6-goal deficit here in the fourth quarter. As Egan's got it up top, he'll move it to Colin Jung. Jung with it in his left. Going, shoot, scores! He gets the hat trick, and it's a hat trick of hat tricks tonight in Columbia as Jung, Hurley, and Mayer all have 3 to their names.
Big game for Colin Jung, the freshman getting his hat trick.
Jung. Jung with it in his left. Going, shoot, scores!
Look at him.
He gets the hat trick, and it's a hat trick.
Forced to be reckoned with, and he's a big component to this Gamecock lacrosse team, and he's going to be around for a while.
Yeah, the freshman midi, he's got size. He and Egan are both lefties naturally, which adds a whole new layer to this offense, especially when they're both on the field. And he's got 3 goals to his name tonight. 2 came in the third, 1 in the fourth. As the Gamecocks win that face-off in a hurry. Quick shot. Goes over Roth. Out of bounds.
That went off Henry Jalbert's leg, number 13 for New Hampshire. The defenseman, he ate that one in the ankle, it appeared.
Went right over the cage, took a high hop. Gamecocks kept it, though. In the stick of 0, working it around. Up top is Carolina, going to the right. Not looking to shoot right now. Out of the stick, though. Ball's on the deck. Both teams have 2 players there trying to corral it. The Wildcats come away with it. It's number 19. He'll get it to his goalie, Roth. They're going to just try and set up the clear.
Ben Chase just scored a goal. He's going to get the ball back here on the clear and do his specialty as a D-midi.
And New Hampshire glad to be back on offense.
They're going to work it around, get their offensive personnel out there on the field. They got to go soon, though. They gave up a goal to the Gamecocks. That's the last thing they wanted to do. They're now down 7 with just over 13 and a half to go.
14, Tyler Brang with it, working left. He'll move it around. Behind the cage now. New Hampshire's going to have to get a shot quickly on these offensive possessions if they're going to try and erase some of this lead.
This is the sound defense we were talking about, just staying in front of your man, taking away the right side.
Back up top to Brang. Going left. That pass deflected out the back. Carolina gets it on a great defensive possession.
A great defensive stand there from Carolina. Exactly what I was talking about. Stay in front of them, force them to make mistakes. That's exactly what they do on the aired pass.
Into the stick of Petrouche as they try and clear.
Oh, beautiful clear.
Right
again.
ahead to Russell.
It's been so good all night, and it's been a difference maker. We've seen a couple turnovers New Hampshire-wise, not the Carolina Gamecocks.
Russell trying to take it inside himself. Flag flies as he eats a hit. Carolina's going to go man up.
Russell getting the and one.
And one. I didn't even notice the ball went in the goal.
What a shot there. That was from Tate Snitto. He's got his second on the season.
So Russell just blown up as he got it to Snido, and Snido buries it despite the penalty. That's a huge play made by Russell.
Officials are still talking whether they want to waive this penalty off or not.
The lead is now 8 for Carolina.
Yeah, Gamecocks continuing to build on that lead, give themselves more of a cushion. Looks like they are going to call this penalty.
If you're New Hampshire, man down is probably the worst place you'd like to be right now.
Oh, 2 minutes locked in, it appears. Looks like it was the same call they gave the Gamecocks earlier. New Hampshire couldn't capitalize, but we'll see if the Gamecocks can continue to grow on their large lead already.
Michael Nassif back out there for the Wildcats at faceoff, making a change yet again. Carolina will come away with the ground ball. Trying to get it ahead in the stick of Egan. Nobody's stepping to Connor Egan as he gets across the restraining line. He'll pass it though.
Thought he was going to step in and take another shot there, but it looks like they're gonna work it around. They're in no rush at all. They have the lead. They have the possession. Might as well maintain it.
Across to 29. Back to the stick of Egan. And the Gamecocks just moving it. Meyer with it now. That pass deflected and out of bounds even beyond the midfield line. We'll see Egan pick one up and bring it back in for the Gamecocks as the ball went off the stick of a New Hampshire player. Egan bringing it up, faking the pass, then he'll give it. 21, Colin Jung with it now. Jung behind the cage. Back up top to Jung. His shot.
Ooh.
Deflected a couple times before it skated out behind the cage.
Yeah, Roth lost it on the way to the net there. It bounced off a couple defenders and just went wide.
Casey Hurley will bring in the dead ball. Up top to Jung. Looked like he wanted to shoot. He'll step back though. Cross to Egan, the other lefty. Skip pass. Shot. Johnny Stanton just barely missing the cage.
Stan has such a good shot, just unfortunately has not been able to find the back of the net tonight. He's been a little rampant, but he's going to find it soon, and he looks like he wants to bury one. He wants to get on the same boat as all of his other Gamecocks and maybe get a hat trick.
Game clock's running out of shot clock, though, it looks like. Stanton, another shot just off the mark. Carolina will keep it as Casey Hurley was there. Johnny Stanton just hardly moving his feet, just setting up over there and taking shots from the left wing. Hurley up to Egan. Egan, quick pass, shot just off the mark.
Another shot that just went high.
That was 55, Donald Ryan shooting that time. Carolina and the man up, just pulling their shots from range. Johnny Stanton, his third shot, his third miss on this possession alone. But it'll be Wildcat ball as they're just out of.
Yeah, the shot clock was running out there. That was just kind of a Hail Mary shot at the end. A lot of shots that went rampant there. They toned those down a little bit and get those on cage. At least one of those are goals.
Wildcats bringing it up. Christopher Roth has it.
Roth did a good job of taking away those angles on those last 4 shots.
Jalbert brings it across midfield. He's pushing the pressure. Although his pass hits the deck, he was looking for number 7. A flag flies far behind the play. It'll be against the Gamecocks when the next dead ball is.
Looks like it's going to be another offsides. Johnny Stan kind of dove at Jalbert there trying to get the ball back on a hustle play and just kind of fell over that line.
Kelleher gives it up to Pasella as the Wildcats are just going to slow it down. Make a calculated attack here before accepting the penalty when they either turn it over or the ball goes dead.
The one plus of a delayed offsides call is that you do get that 7th guy, so they're going to double team the ball here. New Hampshire going to try and work around that as they throw an interception.
So despite Russell getting the ball back, Gamecocks go man down. 10 minutes and 10 seconds of lacrosse left to be played. It's Gamecocks by 7. Excuse me, 8. The lead's 13 now to 5.
Yeah, they've done a great job extending that lead here in the 4th quarter, giving them a cushion so that they can, not that they're wanting to make these mistakes, but when they do, they don't have to stress as much as they would in such a close game.
New Hampshire isn't in desperation territory yet, but you'd like to see them playing with more pace if they're going to try and erase this lead.
It looks like that's kind of what they're trying to do. They try to get like 3 or 4 passes off and then take a shot. Here comes
Moving the ball quickly. Here's a shot. David Pacella missed the cage.
Pacella with a good shot, like you said, just missed.
Wildcats moving it in. The shot there again. Bobby Girardi.
Another quick one.
Just off the cage.
Girardi's found the back of the net a couple times tonight. He's looking for some more. He's hungry. Looking to lead this New Hampshire team back into it.
Girardi's got it again. Passes over his head. He gets his own ground ball. Gamecocks don't pressure him. Penalty releases, though, full strength. Girardi shoots again over the top of the cage. And we're back to 6-on-6 lacrosse.
And another good penalty kill from the Gamecocks. They've done well with that tonight, only allowing 2 man-up goals for New Hampshire.
And while the Gamecocks are getting blown out in the penalty disadvantage, at least they're handling it well when they find themselves in the man down. Wildcats still have it. Up top to 14. He'll dodge. Sticking his left. Looking to shoot. Gets it past Petrush. Wildcats cut the lead to 7 on the goal by number 14, Tyler Brang.
Yeah, and that's a good goal. He was getting to the left side, using his left hand. Made a good play.
So Tyler Brang puts it away. 6-13 is the score. We've got about 9:21 left to play.
Tyler Brang with his 7th of the year. He's also been a name we haven't called much tonight. Finally finds the back of the net, like I said, getting that bottom corner, finding the open net.
He's played nearly the whole game, but finally getting shots off.
That's in the back. That's going to be another loose ball push on the Gamecocks.
So do we Wildcats on offense coming out of the face-off?
If the Wildcats can get a couple goals here, they could get themselves back into it. Potentially maybe make this a tighter game. 9 minutes left, the time's ticking.
Certainly fighting against the clock if you're the Wildcats. Carolina would be happy to let the clock hit triple zeros without one more goal being scored. Ball hit the deck as New Hampshire is trying to move it around, and they'll turn it back over to Carolina. Ball ahead to Henry Maloney.
And again, Russell's open. They
Maloney
defended that
Russell.
a little bit better, but Russell's still going to get the ball into the offensive zone for the Gamecocks. He's pressured.
O'Hare on Russell as soon as he crossed the midline, but Russell's just going to push the pace, dump one off. Penalty.
And a goal.
And a goal. Gamecocks get their 14th.
Casey Hurley with his 4th on the night. And a flag is going to be on O'Hare as he hit Teddy Russell in the head. It's going to be a slash.
So Gavin O'Hara is headed to the penalty box. Gamecocks will go man up. And that's twice now we've seen the Gamecocks draw a penalty and then capitalize and still score the goal, which is really just taking all the wind out of these New Hampshire Wildcat sails.
Yeah, Teddy Russell with a big goal there. That's his 2nd on the year to match his 2 assists. Excuse me, that was Casey Hurley. The assist came from Russell, so it's his 3rd assist of the year.
And you love to see these deep holes get involved on offense. Russell had already drawn the penalty on the previous possession, that time assisting and drawing a penalty. New Hampshire, as they try to move it behind the back of the cage, turn the ball over. An errant pass goes out of bounds. Gamecocks back in charge in the man up.
Again, that last goal all started with that beautiful clear that they just continue to make work. This time it's going to go to a midi. This is kind of new from the Gamecocks here tonight on the clears.
Connor Egan just brings it across and the man up.
Normally it goes to a pole, Teddy Russell or Romano. But like you mentioned, Egan in the middle of the field was wide open. You can't pass that up.
Hard to ride the clear when you're man down. Gamecocks just moving around, being very patient on offense. Egan up top, shot, deflected. Ball's bounced around the cage. A great ground ball by New Hampshire. It's number 13 comes away with it, Henry Jalbert.
Great save by Roth there. Had to come across his body and go full windmill save.
Ball on the stick of Roth now. He'll get it ahead to number 14 as he comes in the game. That's Tyler Brang.
Brang just found the back of the net. He's going to look to do so again and answer the Gamecocks here.
7 minutes now to play. The lead is still 8. Ryan McNeil moves the ball up. New Hampshire just taking their time. The penalty kills. Both teams at full strength. And the New Hampshire Wildcats on offense. Moving it around still. Up top, Pasella has it. Going to the right. Beats his short stick defender. He shoots. Misses the cage wide. Wildcats keep it.
That's a good shot from Pasella looking for the bottom left corner. That's the off-hip side of Petrush. Just missed it.
These New Hampshire Wildcats need to just start putting shots on cage if they're hoping to have them fall. We'll see the penalty.
All 3 officials throwing a flag. There was no getting out of that one.
I think the noise from that contact might have been picked up on the microphones here. Gamecocks go man down once again. Sounded like a car wreck from 30 yards away.
Another mistake defensively for the Gamecocks. They've played a phenomenal game tonight. They've just got to tone in these penalties. They got to tone them down a bit and not get as many, especially once they get into this conference play and these tournament plays. It's going to bite them in the butt eventually, and they got to really watch that as they get into the second half of the season.
Most definitely. Being disciplined, particularly when you're playing defense, can go a very long way in lacrosse, where the man up can be so deadly.
They'll definitely be talking about that before they go into conference play this weekend on March 22nd and 23rd against Bama and Vandy.
Skip pass inside. Wildcats can't get it on cage. Again deflected into the stick of Petrush. And Carolina gets a couple lucky bounces there. That'll give them the ball back. Back to Petrush. Still trying to clear the man down. It's 12 with it for Carolina. Just running up the sideline. He loses the ball, though. Going for his own GB. He gets it.
Great ride by Braden Bowman. Looks
Just
like it's
trying to
gonna
get it
work out for the
ahead.
Gamecocks.
And he will. Carolina in the offensive end of the field. And still just trying to hold the ball. Not really doing too much with it. 27 looked like he wanted the slash penalty, but he didn't get it. This late in the game, it's hard to draw.
A timeout by the Gamecocks.
And again, a smart timeout. You got it on offense. You had a very successful defensive stop despite being man down. Let's just talk it over. See how we can finish these next 5.5 minutes. Get away with a W here at home.
Yeah, head coach Dakota Kirsch-Downs, he's been around the game for a long time. He knows he's very smart. He's got that lacrosse IQ. He's made some great calls tonight, some great plays, some great strategy, and another good call timeout there.
Most definitely. So we'll talk this one over. We're halfway through the fourth quarter. More than halfway through the fourth quarter. The Gamecocks still leading by 7. We said we didn't think we'd be getting one of these high-scoring blowouts, but then you had a guy like Colin June come out and have a hat trick in the second half alone from the freshman. What did the Gamecocks do differently? They just shot the ball more, they moved it better, and New Hampshire couldn't quite keep the pace.
Yeah, New Hampshire couldn't quite keep up as well as they thought they could. And it's not even that New Hampshire was off the pace. They just made more turnovers than they did in the first half. They gave more possessions to Carolina, which allowed them to get more shots on cage. More possessions equals more goals. And that's kind of where they just grew their lead out to about 7, whereas it was only 3 or 4 at halftime.
Most definitely. As the wind is just bearing down here at home, both these teams are probably about ready to get inside, have a nice warm cup of coffee, and maybe sit down by the fire.
Oh, yeah. It is a Monday night. Maybe do some homework, unfortunately.
New Hampshire will be heading to Raleigh tomorrow to take on NC State.
NC State, another good program in the MCLA. They've had their fair share of success. That'll be another tough challenge for New Hampshire. But another good opportunity to forget about this one and get another resume builder. That's gonna be the goal for New Hampshire, is to bounce back quick. Don't let this one hang over their heads too much.
That can be a challenge on the road, as well as we saw the Gamecocks lose both their road games when they headed up to Virginia the other week. Definitely. Carolina just running laps around the New Hampshire defense, trying to kill this penalty now.
Penalty is killed. We are all even.
Number 71 for the Gamecocks, just putting the team on his back. He probably ran a quarter mile just there trying to kill the penalty. Back up top, Colin Jung has it. The big lefty will skip it across. That pass just off the mark, but the Gamecocks will keep it in bounds, get their own ground ball. And the stick number 7 now for Carolina. Working to his right. Got both hands back on the stick. Looked like he wanted to shoot. He'll pass it up. Back behind the cage. Whistle comes. Shot clock violation will give the Wildcats back the ball at the 4:49 mark in the fourth quarter.
Looks like Carolina just didn't even know the shot clock was down that low.
But after killing that penalty and wasting so much time, ultimately their strategy just came up to bite them.
Yeah, under 5 to go. New Hampshire's got to go immediately. Start dodging maybe more than passing and just try and get as much on cage as you can. Because the Gamecocks have a new goalie in.
Gamecocks feeling comfortable enough, up 7 to switch goalies.
That's Luke Cosentino, the senior, out of West Islip High School.
Cosentino, the first shot he faced, misses the cage. It was Luke Kelleher. Sends it over the top.
His fellow goalies celebrating him on the sideline there. The bench rallying around the Gamecocks. We were talking about the crowd that formed here tonight. It was a good crowd for a Monday night. Whenever the Gamecocks are playing, their community is out supporting. It's a great community down here, and a lot of New Hampshire fans as well. They're glad they made the travel and got to see beautiful Columbia, South Carolina.
Yeah, definitely props to the Wildcats team and fans. As that is saved by the Gamecocks.
Cosentino with a big save.
Carolina moving it up the middle. One pass, shot, buries it. Number 92, Matthew Mayer, gets his 4th on the night to put the dagger in this game.
Man, it's been him, Jung, and Hurley. Those are kind of the big 3 tonight. 4 goals for Mayer. He's had a heck of a performance.
Carolina moving it.
And that kind of just
middle.
puts the icing on the cake.
One pass, shot, buries it. Number 92, Mayer getting his 4th is impressive. The 15th goal for the Gamecocks puts them well beyond double the score of the New Hampshire Wildcats, who, like we were saying, traveled very well. They had some fans here, definitely rocking that navy blue and cheering their squad on.
Yeah, we wish them luck and blessings as they travel up to Raleigh.
Ball still on the deck. Whistle blew, though, before it was picked up. They'll call it loose ball push. Wildcat ball.
Yeah, there was a couple players who just weren't even going for the ball there. They were just kind of jawing at each other.
I think the ball might have even stopped moving at one point, which is very rare to see on a faceoff.
Got stuck in that dustpan of a midfield dot.
Wildcats kind of just holding it near midfield, looking to dodge on the short stick defender. Going to his left. Loses the ball, though, on the dodge. Tyler Brang had it. He split from his right to his left, and the ball came out, but he got his own ground ball. Good swim move by Braden Bowman to get behind the cage. That shot out of bounds. Wildcats keep it.
Final few minutes ticking off here. New Hampshire kind of hoping for a miracle here. They're
Up top to Girardi. Going to his left. Shot. Off the mark. New Hampshire will keep it yet again.
How about Cosentino coming into the game for the Gamecocks? He's done well so far.
And seeing shots, he saved the first shot he faced on cage.
I bet he's been cold sitting on that sideline. He definitely had to stretch out before coming in, but
most definitely. He's got the sweatpants on, it looks like. That shot goes over the cage as well. And the Wildcats are kind of just starting to shoot from anywhere.
Yeah, trying to see if they could just get anything to fall.
Under 2.5 minutes to play now. Wildcats at X. Teddy Russell on the man.
Oh, my gosh.
And a good check on Braden Bowman. Unfortunately, a flag flies as the keeper was even out of the cage chasing that ground ball.
Not sure about that one. He looks like he kind of just slid there and got all stick, but the refs did a phenomenal job tonight. It's been a physical game on both ends.
Yeah, if you saw me watch Gamecock basketball, you'd probably hear a lot more complaining about the refs than we did tonight. Well, you got to tip your hats to those in the black and white stripes who called a very good game tonight.
I have no idea how they're wearing shorts and a T-shirt.
Man, they got to be cold. I mean, they're doing running out there, but
Ooh, I'm cold and I'm in long sleeves.
I second that. I'm also not feeling too warm out here. We got to give a shout out to our production crew as well, braving this
Yes.
very cold weather.
Absolutely. Thank you to SGTV and Gamecock Lacrosse for working together to get this production on tonight. It's been very fun being out here with you guys, and we appreciate you guys for watching.
Wildcats will start from the dead ball on offense. In the man up. Who's in the stick of Pasella. Trying to get it inside. Ball hit the deck. And a great save by the Gamecocks. Number 25.
Gamecock bench is loving it. A great save by Cosentino.
Cosentino stopped the second one he faced. He's 100% on the night. New Hampshire misses a pass. It goes out of bounds. Carolina gets it back despite the man down.
Turnovers have been a struggle for New Hampshire here in the second half. Same with the Gamecocks there in the first half. They kind of figured it out.
The penalty has released, it looks like, as Carolina's going to try and clear it. A very long pass ahead.
A little confusion on defense there for New Hampshire. Mayer's going to look for his fifth.
Working into the cage, just off the mark. He fired that one from right on the crease, but from the shallow angle, couldn't find the back of the net.
Jake McQuaid on the field tonight. Good to see him out there.
McQuaid in the game. Moves it up to number 9 for the Gamecocks.
Here's Carswell.
Carswell over to number 7. That's Luke Manier. Who loses it. New Hampshire in transition now. Got the quick ground ball. Luke Manier, number 7, with a trail check that will draw a flag. So as the Gamecocks pick it up, the play's blown dead.
Looks like 2 flags are going to come in here. Couple Gamecock players. The slash on Manier. And then the hit from Reed Parker in the back there, the junior midi.
So this game's getting a little chippy with only 70 seconds left. Gamecocks still lead 15-7. And we'll probably finish this game in the man down.
Yeah, they're stacking up some penalties here. New Hampshire's going to get the first 2-man advantage of the night. It's just going to be a little too late, unfortunately, for New Hampshire. But props to them. They hung with them. They gave the Gamecocks a scare there early in the second half. But the Gamecocks really just poured it on there in the second half and got their offense going.
I hope Coach Kirsch Downs doesn't have this Carolina squad doing too much conditioning their next practice, because they have drawn a number of penalties tonight.
They are near the double digits, if not in them. It's been a rough night, discipline-wise. I'm sure there's going to be much discipline the next couple days of practice.
Certainly. And they've shown they have a lot of great fundamentals, a lot of talent on this squad, and a lot of chemistry. But ultimately, if you can't win that battle with the officials, you're going to make games a lot harder for yourself. Shot there by Pasella off the mark.
Props to Cosentino, man. He really stepped in and just has done so well so far. I don't want to announce or jinx him yet, as the game is still going on.
Pasella coming in. Ball hits the deck in front of the cage, and a great clear by the Gamecocks, who are now fighting for that ball behind the cage. Back out in front. Pasella not in the cage yet, and they sneak one by him. It's number 14, Tyler Brang.
Yeah, Cosentino came out into the corner to try and help his defenseman get that ground ball, but it kind of got knocked back into the middle of the field there in a wide open net. Cosentino out of position. 8th goal of the night for the New Hampshire Wildcats.
So with 43 seconds left, Brang will get his 2nd goal of the night, sneaking it into the open net. Gamecocks will be back at full strength, it appears. The lead still 7.
Potentially one final face-off here, and it's won by New Hampshire.
New Hampshire quick out of the face-off. Shot on goal, misses. Wildcats keep it. Both teams going to hustle to the sideline for subs. Behind the cage now is number 5, Bowman. Working on Russell.
Bowman trying to
get one. Just off the mark. Stayed in bounds, so Wildcats get their own ground ball. It's 36. O'Hara going to the right. Shot deflected over the cage by the keeper and out of bounds. Wildcats still keep it with just 11 seconds now on the clock.
It's a big win for the Gamecocks. They definitely needed this to get back on track after those 2 close losses up in Virginia.
And with 6 seconds, the Wildcats put another one in the cage. Penalty flag, though, comes in after the play, long after it had blown dead.
New Hampshire trying to cover the spread a little bit there. Let's see what they'll call. Just another penalty on the Gamecocks, it appears. Like, it's been the story of tonight. Penalties, penalties, penalties. Won't matter with only 6 seconds left. And a late surge from New Hampshire just comes up just a bit too short and a bit too late.
If they'd picked that momentum up, though, at the 9-minute mark, this game could have looked quite different.
Absolutely.
As it looks like they're just going to let these last 6 seconds, 3 seconds they've marked it down to.
Looks like
tick off. The New Hampshire players are heading straight to the sideline in no rush to play these last few seconds of lacrosse.
Looks like they called a timeout, and it looks like Kirsch Downs is leaving his team out on the field just to take one final face-off.
So that's what we'll likely see. With the lead being 6, these last 3 seconds will be played, unfortunately to say it, more or less as a formality. The timeout, cooling some heads before we can put a bow on this one and call it a W for the South Carolina Gamecocks.
A big one, and not a bad game from New Hampshire tonight. They learned a lot for sure. Second half of the season, still a lot of games left to be played for both teams. They're going to go, like you mentioned earlier, into Raleigh, North Carolina tomorrow. They'll have a chance to get back in the win column, learn from what happened tonight.
So the penalty will give it to the Wildcats, no face-off, but as the whistle blows, we'll just see these 3 seconds tick off. And like you were saying, definitely a learning moment for New Hampshire. When you're an unranked team, you come in here and play a team that is ranked as highly as South Carolina, you're going to see what it feels like to play a team that has played a lot of lacrosse together and is very talented. They gave them an incredibly good fight, but ultimately 15-9 will be your final score from here in Columbia tonight. The University of South Carolina Gamecocks victorious over the University of New Hampshire Wildcats.
The Gamecocks advance to 6-2. New Hampshire back to the drawing board as they've got some games coming up. We want to thank you guys for joining SGTV tonight. Make sure you follow the YouTube and all our socials so you never miss any sports, media, or entertainment content. Griffin, thank you for being alongside me tonight. Thank you for suffering in the cold with me.
Most definitely.
It was a chilly one. It was nice when the sun was out, but that wind is picking up, and I'm ready to go get in bed.
Yeah, I think most of these players are going to be pretty tired tonight as well, maybe hitting the books tonight. We've got a long week ahead of us. Got some March Madness to watch and look forward to. But tonight, it was all Gamecocks from here in Columbia. Signing off for SGTV.